All right, welcome to 2022. We're excited to host another episode of Walk-ins Welcome. On this episode, we are going to be talking about questions that you should be asking your agency if you have one. But before we do that, let me tell you a little bit about the webinar that we did back in December.
Yeah, so December 16th, we did a webinar talking about internet marketing plan for urgent cares for 2022. It was a great webinar. I had a lot of questions come through, of course. And we actually had a workbook that we gave away. It was just a simple link to a document that we had made. And the best part is it's about marketing, but it forces you to think about your business as a whole because we talk about target audiences and who your demographics are and how you can make offers and things like that. So we did it. You can go check it out. It's on our social profiles, links to that. But we are going to have another one coming soon, too. So we don't have a set date just yet, but you'll get that very soon.
We're excited to do another webinar for your marketing plan for 2022. Stay tuned for the future episodes. Go back and watch the other one. But until then, we'll kick off to our episode, Questions to Ask Your Agency. Welcome back to Walk-ins Welcome, an urgent care marketing podcast. My name is Nick Hort. I'm here with Michael Ray, and we are going to be talking about our processes today, Michael.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring this episode. By the way, I kind of write the general outlines for these episodes, and on this episode, so at this point, you guys have heard what is SEO, what is a website, what is digital marketing in general. Well, now I want to identify there are lots and lots of ways to do digital marketing, and there's lots of good ways and bad ways. And we see it all the time where people are sold something, they don't know what they were sold, and they have no idea if it's good or bad until a year later or 6 months later, and I don't see any results, or I don't like the results. Well, we're here to help inform you guys of what makes sense, what kind of questions they should be asking, what kind of questions you should be asking. And then just real expectations. Like we've been doing this for a while. We know what's real and what's not, what's our fake promises and what are real promises and things like that. And even today, I had a potential IV therapy company say, "Can y'all do guaranteed leads?" Well, of course not.
And then, anybody who tells you otherwise is literally trying to get your check, and that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And just if you don't notice already, any marketing that has a guarantee behind it isn't actually marketing; it's something else. Because all we can guarantee is we do the work. We cannot guarantee the results.
Some things that I would love to help you understand before we get into the details of our process is to understand a little bit about the industry as a whole. One, it's not regulated.
Nope.
There's as a medical professional, you have to have a PhD or a registered nurse or something that gives you the credentials to perform medical work.
Yeah, I mean, like for you to open a medical practice, there's levels of things you have to do, layers upon layers. To open a digital marketing agency, you need a laptop with internet.
Yep. So CPA has to have those credentials. Mm-hmm. Financial planner has to have credentials.
Doctors have to have credentials.
Lawyers. All of these people have to be regulated, and the digital marketing space and marketing as a whole really is not regulated. And I wanted to bring that to the table because there are a lot of agencies out there that make, I would say, agencies like us look bad. And I'm not going to point out anybody's name. That's not the goal. And I don't want to poo-poo all over other agencies out there because there's also a lot of really good ones that I feel do good work. And it gets overshadowed by, this random person with a laptop at their house who has a cell phone and a laptop. Here's the cool thing about the world we live in is literally it's the best time in the history of the planet to start a company because it's so readily available to get to and in front of people.
Yeah, well, and then the expectation of, I know you're probably working from home. That's totally normal now. So all that being said, it has been, it is a challenge that we fight regularly where we are going up against these large companies that have been doing digital for years. They just have more people, and then we're going against the one that has a laptop that works at night only, and they're a third of the price. Like it's kind of all over. There are no even if you decide to price shop, prices are all over the place. Like it is no.
There's no best practices.
No, there's not, and there won't be anytime soon because technically the only regulation that we have in this world is Google and Facebook. and they're private companies. They're regulating to have more profit, not to have an even playing field. So it's a different world that we play. It's fun and it's super young. Like this industry is only 25 years old. When you think about that, an industry that's only 25 years old, it's amazing how far we've come at this point.
Right. Well, I wanted to lay the foundation of that so that you understand there's a lot of people out there doing what we do, and not all of them have the processes and procedures and tracking measures and all the things that we put into our processes. So, Michael, let's just kick it off right out of the gate. What are some questions if we have a listener that owns an urgent care or owns a primary care, what should they be asking their existing agency if they have one?
A couple of base things. Are you tracking everything? Are you tracking leads? Are you tracking conversions? What do you mean by conversions? Is what you're doing working? Are you making it better? Are you simply just, how to say this?
Paying for impressions?
Yeah. Am I buying impressions or I'm buying leads? If somebody tells you I can get you 100,000 impressions a month, that's great. I can do that with $10 if I wanted to.
Literally.
I'm not even kidding. But if they're like, if they can't tell you, okay, here's the thing. We like to talk to our clients once a month. We will have a report that may have impressions on it, but that is just, we literally say, this is just a vanity metric. It's just helping us to understand if it's getting in front of people or not. But what we really care about is this conversion, which means somebody took an action. They didn't just load your ad or load whatever, or your website loaded, but they didn't do anything with it. So you got to ask the simple questions. Can I say I'm getting a benefit out of using you guys? Can you give me some actual numbers? Give me some real data, not just this, hey, that looks really good. I got 500,000 impressions last month. I got 150 clicks. Then what? If they can't tell you beyond the click, there's an issue.
All right. So I want to go through a process of something that I think that you should ask your agency that I would love if any of our clients would ask us. And that is a SMART goal. All right. So here's what you ask the agency. All right. You're asking me for $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
All right. Specifically, what are you going to do with that money? Tell me, is it going to go to Google? Is it going to go to Facebook? Is it going to go to what's called OTT, over the top ads? Is it YouTube? I want you to be specific in what the goal is for the money that you're asking me for. 2, are you measuring it, right? And this is what Michael was talking about just now. Like, are you measuring it through a system of impressions? Are you doing it through cost per click, CPC? Are you actually going to show us conversions? Are you even going to show us return on ads, a return on ad spend, or a return on investment? Are you going to be able to show me to that level? So is it measured? 3, is it attainable? Like, can you actually do, here's funny, Michael, we've talked about this in the past where some of these people will come up and either guarantee you leads.
Yeah.
Is that attainable? You need to ask that question. 2, is it attainable from the standpoint of with $2,000, is that even a legit goal? Like, I'm going to bring you 5,000 new clients next week.
Oh, man.
Like, is it attainable?
I just have flashbacks of somebody that say, I need $10,000 next week.
Right.
You know.
I remember that. Oh, yes, I forgot. He's like, yeah, we found that out. He goes, I need to make $10,000 next week off the ads that we do. And we're like, that's not even an attainable goal, which goes to the next one. You're like, is it realistic? Is it realistic? Realistic could fall under a couple of camps in my mind, Michael. That could be, is it realistic that you can do that? Is it realistic that we could even receive that amount of volume in?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, from our standpoint, whenever we sit down with a potential client, urgent care or whatnot, we evaluate, like, how much is that client, like when you get a new patient in the door, how much are they on average worth to you? Great. How much, what kind of budget are we working with? Okay, so we know if we can able to calculate in that meeting, this is where we can sell you. If we can say, all right, let's talk about some goals. If it means that we need to get you 50 more patients to break even with our cost, we need to know if that makes sense or not. Or are you saying, oh, no, we only make $20 a patient. Well, great, now we need to make 150 patients a month. Does that actually make sense? Like, there's just levels there because you can't, if you can't, like, there's demand versus the cost to get to in front of that demand. Like, there's so many things that go into it, and you just have to be realistic. And we hate, like, well, I say hate, but if somebody gives their unrealistic goal, I just say, well, we just can't do that. And I love telling people that in the sense of I'm not going to lead you on and pretend it.
I would love for you, as we're talking about what you should ask your agency, I want you to throw out to them a ridiculous goal. Like, I need you to bring us in 50 patients tomorrow.
No.
But this, you already go into this knowing this is a test. I would love for somebody to test us with this. I mean, necessarily. So I want them to go.
That's
what
funny.
I think there's two answers to this in my mind, because I know me, because not only do I run a marketing agency, I'm also in sales, right? So two things would happen. One, I would immediately say, there's no way we're going to do that. So that tells me as the urgent care, hey, this person's being credible. They're telling me the truth that they can't do that.
Well, then the other answer could be, okay, you want 50 patients tomorrow.
We need to triple your ads.
What is your budget?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just run some numbers. We could do something like that, not tomorrow, but eventually get to the point of 50 new patients a day. If it looks like we'll need about, I'm just throwing a number out there, it looks like we need about $50,000 a month in ad spend. And that sounds, but that's like shock value / reality. I mean, I always, when I sit down and talk to a potential client, we talk about Google Ads, I always make the joke about if you're really mad at your attorney, or a attorney, just go click on a Google ad because that's where all the money is being spent. And if you want, and so like those guys, they do have $100,000 a month they're blowing on ads because everybody else it's a very competitive market. And that's just like, so if an attorney came to us, hey, I got $2,000 a month, I do this, like, sorry, it's just not going to work.
Multiply that by 10 and then we're good to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into the T part of the SMART goal, and that is a time frame, right? So if you have a company that you're working with that says, we're going to get, Michael, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to generate 100 leads for you. Okay, is that tomorrow? Is that next week? Is that next month? Is this over the period of 6 months? Is this over a period of a year? You need to know.
Yeah.
You need to know what the time frame is on the work being provided.
And also, digital does have this challenge where traditional marketing has always said, oh, it takes time, and people have just understood that. Digital, like that's traditional. Digital marketing, there's this weird expectation, oh, it can be done in less than a month. Like all these results I want, I can get in 2 weeks. Well, no. I mean, sure, maybe 15 years ago when nobody was able to do it themselves. But nowadays, there's so many people able to do this. You can't. Like we even tell people, like we don't want to work with you unless you at least give us 90 days to make some proof out of what makes sense. Because in the first month, we're not getting you a ton of leads. Let's be honest, it's pretty rare. Like it's a lot of getting things launched, getting things adjusted, getting things moving in the right direction. And we tell them, like, you don't judge us that first month. We're just getting the work in place and getting things moving. Look at day 60 and day 90. That's where you can start to look at the actual lead count and some expectation there.
Yeah, and putting those timeframes in place, setting those expectations, I think it needs to be mutual. I think you as the urgent care need to set proper expectations on what you expect to get out of a good marketing campaign. And I think a great agency or a great marketing company, or even if you're hiring this in-house, a great employee team member that is handling your marketing is going to be able to give you a realistic time frame on when to expect said results. I think it's important to measure those results over a length of time and setting those expectations. If a company is coming in, a person is coming in, an agency is coming in and saying X, Y, and Z time frame, we're going to be able to do this, that, and the other, they have to be specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Like you have to have those SMART goals in place, especially because there is a misconception, Michael, that digital marketing is instant.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So step one, listeners, write down your goals, make them realistic, make them smart, and then and just be like, if you have historical data, look at that. Like if anything, I just want to beat what I did a year ago or what I did last month. Great, what is that actual number? It helps us as a marketing company to have an attainable goal to go after. Because a good example, like if you told me I need 20 more, if you can tell me I feel good if I can get you 20 more patients in a month, yes, great. We're going to go after that first, and I'm going to come back to you and say, we got you 25, how do you feel? and let's keep moving. Because the last thing you want to do is, I want 20, we come back 25, say, no, I really want 50, I just told you 20. Because that's a thing too.
Well, to be a little transparent, just from the internals of our company, up until August, we've always had a financial goal that we've put in front of our team. We know that we feel we do really, really good work. That work has a lot of value because we can see a 6 to 10 to 1 return on investment for our clients who invest with us at a year time. All right. But after we had hit a major milestone in the business, I genuinely, Michael, you know this about me, I genuinely want to help companies. So we kind of shifted from a financial goal to we want to help 100 urgent cares triple their revenue through digital marketing services.
Yep.
That's not untrue, but what we did is we removed a measurable. We removed a measurable. Our goal of helping 100 urgent cares triple their revenue is still a very realistic goal, but the problem is we didn't make it a SMART goal.
Yeah.
And we suffered for it for the past 3 months. And this is the transparent part. It's like, we're not going backwards, but we stagnated a little bit because we weren't aiming for a number or something like that. It was just this kind of arbitrary, okay, we want to help an urgent care triple their revenue, instead of saying, hey, look, this is X, Y, and Z. It's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, it's time bound. We know what we're trying to do. So we fixed that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. All right. So we went through the goal part. Let's talk a little bit about process and what that actually looks like from our end. Now, we're not going to give you every single detail here because there's some stuff that's pretty important to us that we don't want everybody to know. But in a nutshell, if I come and we sell you something, we sell you our services, the first thing we're going to do is have a kickoff meeting where we're going to all get together, go through some things, making sure we have logins and stuff like that to get the ball moving and making sure we're all on the same page before we start deep diving into your account. Now, when we ask questions, some of the things that we'll ask is, we need a login to your website. We need a login to your domain. We need a login to your Google My Business. We need, if you have Google Ads account, we need access to that. We need anything related digital. If you have access, we need it because we need to do our best work. And if we don't have those accesses, we have limitations. And I was making a joke to Nick earlier. If you hire a digital agency to do SEO work and they never ask for your website login, run away.
Guess what they're not doing?
They're not doing
Actually,
it.
I can tell you exactly what they're doing.
They're doing one piece of
They're
SEO.
doing a directory listing optimization, which is putting your name, address, and phone number all across the internet, which has that. Well, it has an impact, but it's 1/9. It's 1/9 of the process, and that's all they do whenever they're not asking you for logins to these other things.
And if they say, oh, we don't need a login, we have everything covered, that's a red flag. Now, for us, if you're curious, okay, they asked for my login, how do I know if they're doing any work on the site? Easiest thing in the world you can do is look at the homepage. Has anything about it changed? And you say, well, no, I haven't seen anything. All right, go a little deeper, do a quick Google search for your name, for your website to pull up, and look at how Google reads it. Is it reading it the same way it always has, or has it changed? These are small things that are good indicators that is SEO work being attempted or not. Because these are things that take really not a whole lot of time to do, but it's such a foundational piece that all of the other work just doesn't do as well.
Let's click over to ads then, right? So if we go over to the ad space and you haven't seen a new ad pop up, and I'm going to give a month time frame and be really, really nice because I know we change things out on a week to 9 to 10 days. We're changing things out pretty regularly. If you're not seeing new ad copy pop up, they're not. They've got a set it and forget it mentality.
Yeah, actually, we have a client right now, and they have been using another company to run Facebook ads, and it's always been brought up. I was like, how are they doing with Facebook ads? Well, I get this report. Looks like we get a lot of impressions and stuff. So, looking at the website, you only get a couple of clicks from Facebook every month. Are you sure to do anything? And then 3 weeks ago, she said, yeah, I'm firing that company. They've been running the same ads since day one. They haven't changed anything.
And there's a thing called ad blindness.
Yeah. Well, and the best part was the ad that they were running had an image that was unrelated to the copy. Like it was for the image was for a different service than what the copy was saying.
It's a shame on how much money that company probably lost, and let's just call it opportunity loss.
Yeah, exactly.
But more importantly, one of the things, well, okay, why are you guys doing an episode putting other agencies on blast like this, right? So the thing is when somebody else does a bad job, it tarnishes the work of a good agency and the good work that they do to help you grow your business.
If you're not sure, like, here's a simple example. Think of a mechanic. Like, if you had a friend, like a mechanic down the street that's kind of shady and they worked on your car and they didn't fix your car, or even a dealership didn't fix your car properly, you by default have a defense up if you have to take your car to a new mechanic, because you're just going to assume they're not going to do their job right, or you're going to question everything, and then you're just like, it's just a bad taste in your mouth. Like, that goes for just about any industry that you've participated in. Like, if you had a bad experience from the get-go, you're going to expect a bad experience until somebody completely changes your mind.
That's good information. So as we move forward with the episode, looking at, some things that we want to give you takeaways. We want to give you things, actionable steps to take either back to your agency or what you could expect from an agency like us, or if you know that you're going to want to hire an agency in the future or hire somebody in the future about this. But before I start doing that, Michael, is there anything specific you wanted to cover?
Just real quick, timelines a little bit.
Yep.
So we touched on it some, but just as a reminder, you really should, any marketing you do, digital or not, give it 3 months before you start having decisions or thoughts about it. Like, give it some time. Granted, if you started with a company and they haven't said a word to you in 3 months, they just took your money and they said, we're running ads or whatever, and you haven't heard anything, no results, like no process information, nothing, that's a different story. But if it's been 3 months and you're being communicated with and you've had multiple meetings and everything, give it at least that before you start deciding. Because in our world, even though we know really well what makes sense for urgent cares, it always is a little bit of a test and repeat type of thing when we bring on a new client, just because your market may be a little bit different. People may be reacting different to different ads. Like, it's not perfect every time. We try to make it really good out of the gate, but it's never perfect. So we always say, give us at least 3 months to make a lot of sense out of it. And also, in today's age, having hard contracts is starting to not be a thing. So don't expect a 12-month contract as a requirement in our world. Like, for us, we don't push those type long-term contracts, and I don't think, honestly, we even tell people, if it's not, like, it's been a few months and we see it's not working, we don't want to make it difficult to end the relationship on either party. So, like, we're very transparent about that, because nobody wins if we're mad at each other.
I want to take a shift real quick into the guarantees and to the try it before you buy it, or you don't pay us until. I want to talk about this because this is becoming a massive trend in the digital marketing space, where people say, we're going to guarantee you, 100 patients coming through the door. Or, hey, try us free for 30 days. And then decide if you want to continue to do work with us. Here's an important thing. Much like you running an urgent care, an agency has costs. Nothing in this world is free. Nothing in this world is guaranteed, right? And the reason I want to bring that up, because I want you to beware. I want you to beware these kind of marketing tactics where you see an agency that says, hey, we'll work for you for free until you are totally satisfied with our product. And I just see it all the time, Michael. And I know as a business owner, I don't even mind laying out our pricing and how we think about it. So we have cost of goods sold, what it takes to just do business with Google or do business with Facebook, these kind of things, right? We have software that we have to purchase to make sure that we're running the very best campaigns that we can run and do the best search engine optimization that we can, delivering social media posting through platforms that you can just go to Facebook and post directly and schedule that out with the kind of results that you're trying to get. You have to have software that allows you to do that.
And then you have people.
And then you have employee payroll. Every one of our listeners that has an urgent care or a primary care or a family care, that you have overhead, you have cost of goods sold. Guess what? So do agencies. And I'm not even talking about us at this point, because that's obvious. What I'm talking about is that all the ones out there that are offering something there's always a great offer for free. Like, come visit us or come test us out, or we're going to waive a setup fee or whatever. All of that's great. But if they say that they're going to work for you for free for a season, I'm telling you, there is a catch, and I want you to look for it.
Yeah. I mean, because you think about some of the top in any industry, some of the top agencies and top whatever, they're never doing it for free. They're typically a premium cost because they know what they're doing. But yeah, I mean, there's always there's a real cost there and a real we'll do it like you're saying, we do it for free until we get results for you. But then how much do those results actually cost you, right? Because that's when they want to charge you, and now you're stuck somewhere. It's just nothing great is for free. It's just not a thing.
I saw a ad the other day, rank on page 1 of Google for only $39 a month.
Wow. What do you do for $39?
All right, so the most primitive, the most basic thing you can do is a Yext directory listing.
Actually, take it one step further. So that language of we'll get you on the page 1 of Google, it didn't say for what.
It does not.
I can get you on page 1 of Google for your name right now.
That's right.
It's called a Google My Business listing.
That's it. Well, but for $39, just think about it. It costs $35 a month for a minimum of 3 months with Yext just to do your directory listings. That's 1/9 of the process. $35 hard cost. That is if you are a agency that has multiple accounts with them. That's the lowest price you can get.
Yeah, and
So think of it. They're making $4.
maybe even that, right? So, and Yext is just a software. There's a bajillion directory softwares out there, but that's like the gold standard that most people know what it means. But I mean, at 39, there's some fine detail that's being skipped over in an offer like that, and it makes all the difference.
So I just want to talk SEO for a second from the perspective, because I want you to be educated as a listener. All right, physical cost alone, if you're using an agency, if they cost less than $700, $800, $900 a month, they're not doing anything. You need to know that, okay? And I'm not just making this up. They're literally not doing anything because it's not even covering the cost of actually doing the work. It doesn't even cover the cost of it. So they're either lying to you or they're doing some kind of modified version of it that isn't real, or what we've found over and over again is they're just doing directory listings and they're moving on with life.
Oh, yeah.
You get no results, you get burned, you lose a lot of money, and nothing happens.
Yep, exactly. And then also with Yext, too, if somebody said, we're strictly a Yext user, well, when you quit paying them, Yext actually does things that hurts you in the reverse. So be careful there.
Right.
Look, you quit using us and your rankings drop. Well, there was a very specific reason why that happened.
This whole episode has been built around the idea of we genuinely want you to know what to look for, positive and negative. We just want you to know what's out there so that you can make the best decision for your urgent care. I maintain that y'all are doing amazing work in your community. We're still pandemic mode from the standpoint of getting vaccines out there, getting people tested on the regular, and making sure that we're keeping safe and healthy communities. So we don't want you to get into a position where you're putting bad information out there because you're cost cutting or whatever. So I wanted to bring that up. Before I take us out, what you got?
Just in a nutshell, if I was going to break it down real quick, it was, if you're going to talk to an agency, can they show you results and check their guarantees? What are they guaranteeing you? If they're guaranteeing results in a certain way, be warned. They can guarantee work, but not the results. Put some timeline to it. Give it some time, at least 3 months minimum. And then, if, like you were saying, if you're spending less than $1,000 a month, you got to question what you're getting. In a nutshell,
If you're getting anything at all.
right? Exactly.
All right. And as you go into the marketing world, you want to be specific in what you're looking for. You want that agency to measure what they're doing. They want it to be an attainable result, not this pie in the sky garbage that everybody's selling right now. It's a realistic goal for everybody at the table. We like to call that a win-win partnership.
Oh, yeah.
And then have a timestamp on that. Like, is this going to take 30 days, 6 months, a year? And it really just depends on your market, if I'm being honest with you. That especially for SEO. I mean, if you're in Orlando, it's going to take a lot longer to get on page 1 of Google than if you're in I don't know, Johnsonville.
Exactly.
Over there on
If
Bob
you have
Road.
high competition, you gotta have some
Yeah,
expectations.
you need to know that. You need to know that. So I hope this is helpful for you. I want to make a quick offer out there. So Urgent Care Marketing Pros is designed to help urgent cares and family cares just like yours get found on the internet, get patients coming through the door, and helping them have an amazing experience. We do this through thoughtful website design, search engine optimization, paid ads, and social media. And here's what I want to offer you for free is a digital footprint. And if you want to email us, what's our email?
So hello at urgentcaremarketingpros.com. And that offer, that little thing we'll give you, it works. It's just it takes a little bit.
That's because there's things that go into it. We really want you to know what you look like online.
Yep. Yeah. And we've had success stories of people like they don't pay us, they used it, and now it's working for them. So like it's legitimate. It isn't fluff. It really isn't.
Right. Well, I hope this has been good for you, Michael. I've enjoyed our time today.
Yeah.
We want to continue to encourage you to go out and treat your patients well, make an impact on your community, grow your urgent care, and let's all help each other.
And if you know somebody that's part of an urgent care that'd love to be part of this podcast, or if you want to be part of this podcast, send us an email. We are bringing on more and more guests every time, so just please send us an email and we'll get you scheduled out.
All right. Have a great week.